This episode of Pucks Out Podcast is brought to you by Action 24/7, Tennessee's only local legal sports book. Use code Pucks Out when you make your first deposit, and our friends at Action will double your deposit up to $800. And once again, this week there are so many dope events and promos happening. Today, Thursday the 24th, the Predators take the ice against the Stars. Bet $50 on the money line, and you'll get a 15 free bet if it doesn't hit. I'm excited for that game. I'll be there to see Pekka's jersey retirement. Friday, the 25th, our eyes are on the NBA tonight as the Heat take on the Knicks and the Clippers battle the Lakers. Put $50 on any NBA parlay plus 200 odds or better and get $25 back if it doesn't hit. Saturday, the 26th, bet $50 on a plus 200 or greater college basketball parlay and you'll automatically get a $25 free bet just because Action loves you. Once again, use code PUCKSOUT, that's PUCKSOUT, when you make your first deposit, and Action will double it up to $800. What are you waiting for?
From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome in to episode 100 of the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hello.
And you can find us in the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. Once again, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Join them every Thursday for bingo. And this Saturday, if you're listening on release day, they got a chili cook-off. So head on over there, try out some delicious chili from a bunch of different people, and watch the Stadium Series game if you don't already have tickets. Today, we got so much to talk about. We're talking about some records of some 100. We've got a bunch of news in and out of the league. We got our games of the week, what's snapping your stick, and an oldie, but a goodie is remixed and comes back for our joke of the week. How you this week, bud?
Good, man. I'm really, still just mentally, physically recovering from the cross-country trek. Lots of weather. St. Louis, obviously terrible just in general anyway, but especially this past Friday with all of the weather. Battled through it, made it safe. But lots of, too much more suited for what's snapping my stick discussion than I'm more jazzed up about going to Chicago and watching the Grizz Bulls play. But sad that I'll have to miss the Stadium Series with you. But hey, we got to have coverage all over the place. Yeah. Sometimes you get the assignment that is not as pressing for the team.
But we are assigned for this Thursday's Pekka retirement game, different parts of the arena.
Different parts. I'll be checking out the Lexus Lounge, make sure everything's going appropriately down there.
Yeah. With your fiance and my wife, and then exactly. I'll be with our good friend of the show, Danny Tanner, of an all-inclusive zone.
He'll say, we just want to make sure we have full coverage, so everybody knows we're there, we're representing.
Yeah,
Pucks Out is here for you.
We like to go anywhere as long as that place has beer.
Right. I'm not going to, I'm not going to hang out at a church with you or something.
Unless that church is a brewery.
Unless it actually is, unless it's formerly a church that turns into a brewery. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I accept those specifically. What about you, man? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Getting ready. This is like my last couple days before what is probably the busiest, probably 60 days that I've ever had. We've got my sister-in-law's wedding where we have to travel to. Then they've got the reception. I'm going on a cross-country trip, flying to Las Vegas, then to see my grandfather for his birthday, then taking a puddle jumper over to San Francisco to see the Preds San Jose game. Then I'm driving all the way back, bringing some stuff back with me from my grandfather's house. So, that's going to be a long drive. Hopefully, we don't hit any weather, but we probably will. We're making a couple stops, I think, in Oklahoma City to see some breweries there, get some food, making some other stops. My wife's been wanting to do these hot springs in Arkansas for a long time, so she's pretty excited about that. And then, we got crawfish boils starting to come up soon. So just getting ready for busy time. But Super excited about this episode. Don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support us. Let's jump right into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
We just talked about it a little bit. Pekka Rinne will have his number 35 brought up to the rafters this Thursday. Very well deserving to be the first Preds to ever have his jersey retired. That's going to be an amazing night and a great ceremony. Let's hope the Preds can kick this losing streak they've been on and get a W that night.
Yeah, and you would really love to see a win come along with that retirement for sure.
Yeah.
But looking forward to it.
They face Florida tonight to record, and that's going to be an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, for sure. I threw some money on the over. I think they can win this game. I didn't like the value that you're going to get from betting straight Florida. I mean, it's going to be a win. This will be a big statement win.
It would be
for sure.
I think I might go and take Florida -1.5 though.
Yeah, I mean that's looking good. Good money on it,
Yeah.
but I was not sure. I mean, the Preds always surprise you when it's you expect them to lose. So I could definitely see them pulling out a win here. I'm just going to stick with the over or under.
Yeah.
You obviously, I guess since I've taken it, it's gone up from 6.5 to 7.
Yeah.
So it's not that is not as a juicy of a number for sure. I can see why you want to get some action on the game for sure. But I mean, a 7 number is always 7 always sucks.
The Preds and Florida be a little unpredictable sometimes with their scoring.
Sure.
A lot of Preds games could be, it could be 5-4, or it could be 3-1 at the end of the night.
Absolutely. And so taking that extra, I mean, yeah, that 7 it's the risk. That's what I need to hit. But if you hit 7 goals and then you still need another one, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
I think 7 is possible.
And not just, you don't get any money, but it's also the whole game of stressing and sweating it. Just to say, I didn't lose any money.
I didn't lose any money just to
Whereas
watch
there's like a 6.5, you can sweat all night and be like, that's 7, go ahead and you're happy then.
Right, exactly.
So it's that kind of, balancing. The Stadium Series this Saturday, I'm super excited. My wife got me some tickets for Christmas. I am really excited. This is a night game. I put a link in here, and you can. I don't know if this is the first time you've seen the mock-up of what the field at Nissan's going to look like. But it's going to be really dope. It being, the game starts after sunset, and all like the lights that you see that are supposed to be like neon are going to be lit up with LEDs and super bright. So it's going to look amazing with the flyovers and stuff.
Yeah, it looks cool. I really wonder how that will really work for the players. A bunch of LEDs floating around the outside of their arena like that.
I think in arenas there's a bunch of LEDs and lights everywere too.
Yeah, but you have the lights up overhead that are, it's all bright anyway.
I think what the LEDs are going to be more is for like during pregame and intermissions. Because they'll turn the house lights off. Because if the house lights are on, which they will be when it's playing, those LEDs are not going to be as distracting for the players.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to turn on and off those football house lights.
True.
You don't just turn those off. Just
True. Yeah.
Click, click, click. Yeah. No, and that's more of what I'm saying is if it's just like, hey, for use before the game and showing off, great. That I'm just like, if those are all flashing and stuff, that had to be a little distracting.
I think they said they're not going to be flashing. They're just going to be on. But
then that would be different for sure.
But it's gonna be really cool.
It almost might be distracting watching the game if they're on the whole time.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, I'm just spitballing.
I hope the weather's
here.
nice
It
for
looks,
it.
It looks super cool.
I'm excited. The halftime shows, I can't remember who's performing. I think it's like Carrie. Is it Miranda? It's Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton.
Yeah, man.
Dirks Bentley, and
I'm not going, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, who's the music gonna be?
Yeah. But all right, yeah. So when we got some news with some transactions, the Maple Leafs acquire Carter Hutton from the Coyotes for future considerations. I guess not super exciting. Yeah.
My favorite trade.
Jack Eichel is now a point per game scorer in Vegas. 3 points in 3 games. He seems to like it a little bit more than Buffalo, as most people probably would enjoy Vegas compared to Buffalo.
They the biggest problem for them was having to throw Mark Stone on that long-term IR for some cap space.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how they figured it out. Maybe he'll be better and good to go for playoff times for them.
Yeah. Seattle, the Kraken make history. JT Brown and Everett Fitzhugh become the first all-black TV broadcast team for an NHL game. Surprised it took this long. So that's great to see. But that about wraps up our news within the NHL. Let's hop outside.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
The Winter Olympics, my favorite Olympics, everyone's favorite Olympics, is wrapped up. U.S. has maintains their fourth spot that they had from 2018. They had 8 golds and 25 overall medals. Norway once again took the top spot with 16 golds, 37 total. Germany once again took the second spot with 12 golds, 27 total. China.
You're saying these are the whole Olympics are
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. The Olympics are done now. The closing ceremony has occurred. China sneaked into the third spot with 9 golds and 15 total. In the U.S. with 8 golds and 25 total. Canada fell to 11th, all the way to 11th from their 4th place finish in 2018, and with only 4 golds and 26 total. Not a great showing for the Canadians in the Winter Olympics. They definitely can't be happy about not even getting they didn't even get the silver or the bronze in men's hockey.
Yeah, that just felt like a boring.
It was a little boring.
Listen,
I enjoyed it because I enjoy the sports, but the coverage was bad. NBC's coverage was not great.
Coverage has been horrible.
The they didn't really promote it. Now I get it. They didn't really want to promote the Beijing Olympics because of, the geopolitical aspect of it. But overall, the sports, just if you're a winter sports fan, it was entertaining, but the coverage was not great. And so if you're not a winter sport fan, you're not going to enjoy it as much as you normally would in, in the Sochi Olympics or anything like that.
Yeah, but I feel like they have traditionally hyped up a lot of sports and made it a lot more fun. I'm not the winter sports Olympic guy, but I like that. But you got to put it in my face, and that has really not been done. Everybody's wanting to tout their secret new app or their secret new, this to watch the Olympics. There was so many hoops to jump through and a lot of stuff if you didn't have very specific,
I guess
TV
I just have
programming.
Hulu, so it was just on the front page of Hulu for me.
Well, right. And you could access it and stuff, but it was just like, oh, if you don't have Paramount Plus for this random thing, or if you don't have, if you don't have, Peacock for this random thing, it was just little things like that. As opposed to, if I stayed up late, I could watch the live coverage of it. But if I'm not doing that, it was just made it hard to pull up and just access. Like where I remember a few Winter Olympics ago, it was literally just, hey, turn this channel on and there will be Olympics on all day, 100% of the time, and it just wasn't conducive to that this time.
Yeah,
no worries, but it's garbage Olympics. It's not summer. Or anything.
The MLB is still in lockout as of recording. The players and the owners met in Florida to negotiate a little bit of the details. The owners counter offer. So the Players Association originally wanted $115 million in bonuses for 150 players and the draft change to a draft lottery for the top 8 picks. The owners' offer was 15 to 20 million bonus pool for only 30 players, and that is a huge gap. That is such a undercut. That's not even I'm going to come in with 50%. That is almost an offensive counteroffer for what they want, and so that is one of the reasons why the players were locked out. Reports are right now that there has not been much improvement on the situation. The MLB has conceded that they won't cut the rosters of the minor leagues, but that's only one small thing, and that was one of those things that the MLB originally put in that they knew they were going to have to come back on. But among the other key areas in which there are incisable gaps, league minimum salaries, the luxury tax and its penalties, the revenue sharing system among clubs, and the number of players eligible for salary arbitration. The MLB has repeatedly insisted it will not touch the last 2 items, both of which the union has sought to alter or expand. Spring training games have been postponed, and quoting the MLB and the Players Association, in no earlier than March 5th will they begin. And many analysts are saying that if a deal is not made on this by the end of this week, then the regular season has a very slim chance of starting on time. Manfred came out today and said that it would be horrible if the players caused the regular season to get postponed. So,
oh man, it's no shame with that cat. Honestly, they just need to hold out. That's what I'd do.
At this point, yeah,
that's what I would do if I were them. I know that it hurts a very smaller subset of people, but these what the big superstars that already do make a bunch of money need to be doing is remembering those little guys on their team that will cause the signing quicker. They may be able to have your back and hold out hope for a little longer with you if you just remember them, Mike Trout, and those type of guys. Just remembering those little guys that are this is great. They're a professional ball player as well, but they ain't able to just hang tight for a year. They still needed their paycheck type of deal. So
for sure. But all right, so let's jump into our main topic of the day. It's our 100th episode. We want to thank all of our fans. It has been a pleasure to talk with all of you. It's been a pleasure for the last 2 years to just once a week get to hang out with my best friend, drink some beer, and talk sports. It's been crazy. Our first episode was a little bit after the Winter Classic, and our 100th episode is right before the Stadium Series. That is just great. So we're going to talk a little bit of records of 100 in the NHL. Some of these are a little bit hard.
Fitting.
Yeah, and some of these stats are a little hard to verify. Had to use Reddit a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
So if we're wrong on any of these, don't know that we don't have ESPN stats and info guys that can just run stats for us. We did our best. If we're wrong, even better, tell us. We're okay with being wrong.
Yeah, it happens. Not all the time, but
most of the time, basically 100 times out of 100 times we're right, but things happen. Bobby sometimes is wrong. So
the fastest skater to 100 goals. When I thought of this, I was like, it's gonna be Gretzky. Gretzky, I think, was third or fourth. Mike Bossy from the Islanders did it in 129 games.
Okay, that's pretty quick.
The slowest was Shane Doan with a 501 games.
Wow, that's
the best part is when I looked up his stats earlier, he had about 1,000 goals in his career, I believe. Let me quick check that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think there was 1,000 games played. Let me double check that. He had 1,500 games played and 400 goals, which means it took him.
He was quicker on his first 100.
Well, no, he was slower on his first 100.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because he scored 300 goals in 1,000 games and only 100 in the first 500. Yeah. So he picked it up a little bit.
Almost like he wanted to be the slowest to 100, and then he's going to square it away.
He was like, I know I'm going to score 100. I just got to do it slow.
You had the fastest goalie to 100 wins on here is Chris Osgood. You had a bunch of stats that this cat
I'm
had.
looking this up, and this is a stat I got from Reddit. And I went on to look it up, and he was the fastest goalie to 100 wins. I believe it was 157 games. He with Detroit. He retired in 2011. He had 3 Stanley Cups. I'm sure he had a Vezina, maybe. I didn't see that. And he had 2 Jennings. He had a couple All-Star games. He's the fastest goalie to 100 wins. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
That's wild. That's lot of
really
stats.
Weird.
That's a lot of stats.
Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe he was PEDs.
Maybe he killed a guy or something. Like he stabbed.
This is American sports. He'll get in there.
He banged the commissioner's wife or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something had to have happened there.
Yeah,
that seems like a lot of good.
Yeah. The fastest. The first ever player to 100 points again. Actually, no, I didn't think this was going to be Gretzky. I didn't think it'd be Phil Esposito, though.
Yeah, this is interesting. That's Phil Esposito. Is he? Is the Bruins guy, or is that the Blackhawks Esposito? I know there's a couple of Espositos floating afoot. I think Phil Esposito is the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, Bruins.
Great. Yeah. So I always remember him from the David Pedroia commercial. When they're at that Boston sandwich shop and they're like, "You think Pedroia needs his own sandwich?" He's like, "The Laces Show," and he was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "What about such and such on was it pastrami on rye or something?" He was like, "You mean like the?" He's like, "You mean like the Esposito?" It's like, no, it's also guy. It's just like a whole fucking yeah. So that's what always reminds me of Phil Esposito. Oldest player to get to 100
This
points.
one I knew. I called. Like in my head, I was like, this is gonna be. I called it. But yeah, Gordie Howe. 40 years old.
We could argue probably slowest to 100 points. I mean, you're an old guy.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
you're an old man. he's had like 450 fights at this point.
Yeah,
he's killed 100 men, but not yet crossed that threshold into a. But I like how it was 40 years old and 103 points. How old was he when he got the 100? Dude was like 32. He had 100 points. Or he had a 4-point game. That's what happened.
Probably a 4, or like he hit his birthday, like he had it down to the minute.
Yeah.
Or it was a late night game and it crossed over to midnight, then he scored
Boom.
3 goals.
That's what it was. They just wanted to include that.
Yeah.
This one I know. I remember when this happened. First to 100 home runs, Ryan Howard, 325 games. He had like 47 home runs that year. It was pretty impressively quick, and then kind of fell off. He just never really developed into that power. I mean, he struck out so much. He never developed into that power hitter that that Albert Pujols that was gonna keep going. So 100 home runs, Ryan Howard.
Wilt Chamberlain. 100 women slept with. I'm sorry, 100 points in a game.
That was you were right on the second part too. That was the same night. Yeah, I mean, there was basketball. It was hard to locate like first player to 100 points. That could have happened in like 3 games for a guy or something. So we had a 100-point scorer, which was pretty impressive. There's only 2 NASCAR drivers that are over that 100-point threshold. Which is obviously Richard Petty.
Are
and
wins
David
and points
Pearson.
Different? Or in NASCAR? Okay.
Yes, wins and win. Like I'm talking
100
about
wins.
I'm talking about. Yeah, did I say points?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, 100. No, I have it. 2 NASCAR
Well, you
drivers
said
over
points.
100. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
100
that's why I
wins.
was questioning. I wasn't sure.
Gotcha. The closest one to that 100 win mark, besides these 2, Richard Petty, David Pearson, Jeff Gordon has 93, but he is retired, so he will not hit that.
Dude, you gotta just stay in there and try to get there.
Winning.
7.
Wow, winning's tough though. See, it's not like it's not like winning a baseball game.
Isn't there like 90 NASCAR races a year? Aren't they all over the place?
Sure, but 46 other people are racing in every single one of them.
I thought like a lot of the races, I thought it was like golf, where like a lot of the races, the big guys don't show up. They only show up to the ones where they can get the most points or something.
No. All of them are equally worth points.
I assumed it was like golf, where it's like, some of these guys are only going to show up to, like Augusta.
Even when they get to the playoff races, when like 10 people race, like everybody still races because they're all contractually obligated. Like their cars are advertising.
True,
that's how they get money.
They gotta sell them Fig Newtons.
Exactly. Yeah. I do love Fig Newtons. A few other that I looked up. There are a few pitchers that there are 15 pitchers with at least 100 wins and 100 saves. Tom Gordon, John Smoltz, Dennis Eckersley, Rich Gossage, Bob Stanley, Rolly Fingers, and that's really his name. Is Rolly Fingers, Ron Reed, Dave Gesty, Lindy McDaniel, Roy Hoyt Wilhelm, Ron Klein, Roy Fay, Stu Miller, Ellis Kinder, and Burpo Marbury. So that's a pretty elite club. And then I think I had one more. The quarterbacks wins through 100 games. Tom Brady was 76. Ben Roethlisberger was 70. Phillip Rivers, 66. Eli Manning had 59. Tony Romo had 58, but they have an asterisk, and it was through 99 games. Cross him off the list. This is obviously not through 100 games.
Did he not play 100 games? Why?
I guess he did
Tony
not play.
Romo?
Tony Romo did.
That's wild.
Did
I
not
felt like
play
he
100.
played forever.
I really didn't know. He was just there for a little bit. Matt Hasselbeck, 58. Peyton Manning, 57. Michael Vick, 56. Jay Cutler, another 99 gamer, 55. Drew Brees, 52. And Carson Palmer with 40 through 100 games. That's pretty crazy to think about through 100 games. That
and Aaron Rodgers is not on that list.
Aaron Rodgers is not. He was not. He didn't start. He didn't play through 100 games. Remember, he was on the bench for a few years behind Brett Favre.
Yeah. Is Tom Brady the only quarterback with 100 wins? Did he reach 100 wins?
I would imagine he had to have been. This was just through 100 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking like
years.
Besides this, I'm thinking like, is there other quarterbacks who have 100
Yeah,
wins?
I would imagine so. I mean, let me see.
Yeah, like 18 games a season.
Yeah, Tom Brady has 243 wins. Brett Favre has 186.
Okay.
I mean, we can keep going. Also, 186 Peyton Manning, 172 Drew Brees. Roethlisberger's at 165. Aaron Rodgers is right behind that.
This does, but have. Okay, I see it now. 2021. I saw that the 19 for Tom Brady. Okay, yeah. So I wonder who the first stat was the most wins in 100 games, right?
Yeah, it was just
to 100 games.
No, it wasn't the fastest to 100 wins. It was through 100 games played. This cat is that's how many wins that they got.
That's cool. Cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So again, thank you all so much for hanging out with us every week. It is wild that people actually want to listen to what we have to say.
My favorite part is how we used our 100th episode to talk about all these great stats that happen when basically all we do is just talk about stuff like that. That's my favorite part. Oh, totally forgot. Aroldis Chapman, 105 mile an hour pitch a few years back. That's pretty. I think that was the highest recorded MLB pitch. Yeah, I was also surprised by that. I always thought it was like
higher.
I always just thought when Randy Johnson killed that bird, it had to have been 130 miles an hour.
There was a sonic boom.
It was that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. When he popped that bird. Yeah, I know you've seen that, right?
Oh,
yeah, when it blows up. Yeah, okay.
Multiple times. It is one of the most insane things. Now, this is not a 100 thing, but something I did see when I was watching the Olympics was it's insane to think about, obviously, football players, it's insane when they play till their 40s, but there was an Olympic athlete in the women's alpine skiing, 49 years old, from France or Italy.
I can't remember if that's the one or there was one other who's been in like every Olympics for like 40 years or something ridiculous. Now, maybe not 40, but like it's been a lot of Olympics that they've been through.
Well, this woman's first Olympics was 1992.
So this might be the one that I'm talking about. You said she was Argentinian?
French or Italian.
Okay. I don't remember that, but
hold on, let me look it up. I have the article, but there's a big ad blocking telling me I need to get rid of my ad blocker, and I ain't doing that. So, but it was on the description of it. Yeah, representing France. So yeah, that's insane. When I saw it, I was like 49 years old. She's been doing Olympics since I was born.
Yeah, and I mean it's just like,
and
you've already done it, man. Like, chill. Like, let somebody else like slide in there and represent their country. Like, you've been representing France in the alpine skiing position for like since Olympics started.
Well, she went against a 15-year-old, which is insane.
Blasted that 15-year-old.
15-year-old won.
Yeah, it probably makes sense.
Yeah,
that tracks.
From the same country too, which was really cool to see. Because it's like, and they like obviously they're friendly. Like she's there more symbolic. Like I got to go, and they asked her, so, "How do you enjoy your last one?" She's like, "I never said this was my last Olympics."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh. Well, okay. Well, you had a bad time, so."
Well, you've got 8 years, and I don't know that you, like, physically have 8 years, man. You are almost dead.
She's 49 and a world-class athlete.
Dead. I say from my I don't even have, like, a pedestal, dude. I'm sitting below her. I'm not even, like, sitting above her.
We're literally sitting, drinking beers. Ugh.
Yeah, and this is my craft, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, my job is
we
to
are also
piss
Olympic,
off the fans. My job is to piss off the fans of alpine skiing because I know nothing about it, but the fans are just like, this guy, and then everybody starts listening to us to hate on us. Boom, and then I'm just being hated on by alpine ski fans, but really, the snowboarding fans, they're like, this guy, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
The skiing's garbage. That's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring in the Chloe Kim fans.
You were saying alpine ski fans. I think you mean alpine ski fan.
That just all. No, there are dozens of them, okay? There are dozens of them.
All right, let's move into our games of the week.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
I'm holding you at bay a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just doing a little bit of score maintenance at this point.
We both went 3-2 last week, so I'm 54-30-3. You're 46-38-3. So yeah, it was
That's
a tough
dope.
week. And when I got into this, I guess because I had such a bad week of betting, I assumed I also was gonna have such a bad. I was like,
Right.
I guess I forgot who I picked when I was like watching the games, and I was like,
We do get real cute. I am interested for next season when we actually start putting money on each of our games to see, because we get real cute when it comes to games of the week, dude. A lot of times, places that we maybe wouldn't even put our money, we're willing to throw our reputation on here,
Yeah.
because they're just randomly picking games,
To be fair though, my reputation's worth more than the dollar we're gonna be doing. So
It is, Bobby. It is absolutely not. I
it's
think
worth
that you think
$1.50.
I think that you think people have a higher opinion of us than they do, and it'll be $2 because we're both putting
I
a
am
dollar.
a minor celebrity. I am a D-list celebrity in Nashville. I'm a fan of the game.
I know.
I was recognized by at least 8 people.
That is true. That is true. But you have no proof that you were ever a fan of the game at this point. I have all the proof that you were a fan of the game, and I'm gonna lie and tell people it was me. Like, hey, are you a fan of the game's friend? I'm like, no, I am the fan of the game
You're
myself.
gonna be wearing a jersey like, oh sweet, let me grab those arms and just like,
No. They shred my fan of the game shirt.
All right. So starting off on Thursday night, I've got the Wild versus the Maple Leafs, and here's the thing. I've 3 weeks in a row I have chosen the Wild to win, and I think 3 weeks in a row they have lost for me. 3 weeks in a row I have bet against the Maple Leafs, and they win. I still don't know what I want to do for this game, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like you got to double down and just go with the Wild again.
I'm going with the
right?
Wild.
Okay.
Whether I was going to, and I'm just like, man, like because eventually they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean,
The Maple Leafs got blown out by the Habs.
it's not like the Wild have lost every game since you've picked them. It's just
Yeah,
the one
those
you
ones,
picked
yeah.
them. Yeah. I have the Caps Rangers Thursday on Thursday the 24th at 6 p.m. Going with the Rangers. The Caps have been playing a little bit better since they had a little skid. I'm still going to stick with the Rangers and take them.
All right, on Friday, I've got the Jets versus the Avalanche. I mean, I'm not going to be cute with this. I could try and tease us like, oh, the Jets are going to be like the rest of the game. Like the Capitals, the Kings versus Ducks. I think was the best game of the day for that one. So I there wasn't a really good matchup. So I'm taking the Avalanche. They outclassed the Jets in every single aspect of the game. Whether it's their goaltending, their defense, their number of airports in the city, everything.
I got the Kings Ducks that day. This is obviously the better game, I would say, but the more difficult choice. I'm going to go with the Kings. They have been playing good hockey as of late, and I've gone against them a couple times, and I think it's backfired on me.
Yeah, I like that. I think the Kings are a good team. I don't know where the standings are right now, but I believe that the Kings are a playoff team this year. I like what I'm seeing.
They're currently in the second wild card spot behind the Preds.
Saturday, both of our games are at the same time, so you can flip back and forth. And I think this is going to be an amazing game. This is 2 Wild games for me. I got the Wild versus the Flames. The Flames just, as of recording, just tied their franchise record of 10 wins in a row. I think they stay hot. I don't know how many games they have between now and then, but the Flames, honestly. A couple weeks ago, I said the Avalanche were my Stanley Cup team, and I still think that. But I could 100% see a Western Conference final, Calgary versus Avalanche, going 7. They have amazing goaltending. Their young guys are stepping up. I love this Flames team. I'm taking the Flames to beat the Wild, and I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to go to overtime.
Great pick. Do like the Flames myself. I'll be interested to watch a little bit of that game. I probably won't watch any of that game, be honest. I'll be at United Center, but I would like to watch that game if I was not out and about myself. Bruins Sharks is who I have on Saturday. Also 9 p.m. I got the Bruins winning that. They're sitting in that second wild card spot. They've had some trouble over the last couple weeks. I'm not worried about them. Sharks are playing good hockey, but Bruins are going to go out there and win this one.
I mean, I like the Sharks. I think that they are starting to regress a little bit. If you asked me a month ago, I probably would have disagreed. But I agree. All right, moving on to Sunday at 6:30. I've got the Canucks versus the Rangers. The Canucks are a little bit on a roll here. I think the Rangers are just too good. I think the Rangers are a very good team this year. I've got the Rangers winning this one.
My Sunday game, I got probably, like you said, the best game of the day. Oilers playing the Hurricanes. Sunday, the 27th at 12 p.m. I'm going to go with the Hurricanes. The Oilers have just dropped off a little bit from where they were. Sitting at third in the Pacific. This is a team that we thought there was no chance that they would ever even drop below the second spot in that Pacific. Not playing the hockey that we've seen that they can play. So obviously I'm going to go with a hot team in the Hurricanes.
Yeah. Honestly, what I've seen from Woodcraft lately, I think it's going to be a very good game. I think the Oilers have turned their season around a little bit. So yeah, that's going to be a very good matchup. Monday, I've got another Leafs game. I got the Leafs versus the Capitals, and this time I am going to go with the Leafs. The Caps are showing some signs of struggling a little bit. So yeah, I've got Toronto beating the Capitals in this one.
An okay game. I mean, it won't be the worst thing that you can turn on. Canucks playing the Devils is what I have on Monday, the 28th at 6:30 p.m. The Devils, had started off hot and played some good hockey early on. They've really dropped off from that. The Canucks started off very poorly and have actually picked it up. So kind of the tale of two teams here. I'm going to go with the Canucks. I think that they're going to take this.
I agree. Yeah. All right. So I can't wait to see how our score looks next week. Let's move on to Joke of the Week.
The weird. Corey Perry. Yeah, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the Joke of the Week.
All right. A couple weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, we talked about this. Rent a Hitman site. Woman, it was a site that was used for a testing site, and a woman entered in that she wanted, I believe, like a husband killed or something like that. Well, it strikes again. This same exact site, a 14-year-old girl was questioned, apprehended after using the site to try and hire a hitman to kill her ex-boyfriend. She gave all of the details needed to, his location, all that stuff, and it is absolutely insane. A Baton Rouge 14-year-old girl searched the site to find someone to kill her ex-boyfriend. Though the website administrator contacted the Baton Rouge Police Department in January, notifying them of the girl's motives. It's wild that this site, the fact that this has become a site that originally was used for testing, but now they say they've caught a lot of people. The website has been in existence for 17 years, and they've been beneficial to law enforcement and sharing information. Scrolling through the website, which we've looked at before,
we looked at it before at our previous Joke of the Week in which we did research that was very just nonchalantly, which we've looked at before. No, yeah. I mean, as a part of research for the show.
Yeah. On this site, you'll find fake testimonies from so-called satisfied customers like Rand and Rond.
And don't forget Robbie Rutler.
Yeah.
We were not very creative. I mean, definitely not us.
It's us, but in Scooby-Doo form. It is insane. Like, first off, so they don't really go into whether or not that she was charged with it, because that is a serious crime. Planning, to have someone murdered is a serious crime.
Yeah, it ranks on up there, Bob.
Yeah, but she's also a 14-year-old girl, and so I wonder, do the parents oh, she's just being dramatic.
That would depend on.
Imagine if this was real though,
This
and like just
happened
some
in
14-year-old
Louisiana.
boy is outside just like playing basketball, and a hitman just shows up with a shaved head and just whack.
I don't know why this guy's got to have a shaved
Well, like the
head.
Hitman series,
I mean,
like the movie Hitman.
like the actual Hitman. Never really saw that.
The
Never really played
game's
the
better than the
game.
movies.
Never really played the game either. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Though. She's in Louisiana, so they could definitely charge her as an adult.
Death
And,
penalty.
They may. There is a good chance.
We're
that-
going to teach you
she's
not to
already
try to
bad.
have people murdered. We're going to put you to death.
Yeah, I'm obviously the problem is that she is 14, and so they're not going to publish a lot of stuff about it due to her being minor. So we're going to have to follow up on this in like 4 years, 2026, bro. Remind me, okay? We're going to follow up, see what's happening with old Baton Rouge 14-year-old girl on Valentine's Day.
I completely forgot though. It's 222. It's Jordan Tutu Day and Derrick Henry Day.
And Derrick Henry Day, and also 2/22/22.
Yeah. Also, congrats to my sister-in-law. Her and her fiance got married today at the courthouse.
Congrats.
So congrats to them. I don't know if I was allowed to make that public yet, so I'll ask my wife, and this part might be bleeped out.
Yeah, and also it's like, this show isn't about love and happiness, and so if we're being honest, it should even if she wants people to know, it should probably get cut anyway. We don't want to seem like a bunch of softies out here. That's just
This ain't Love Line with Dr. Drew.
I'm not just hating on love. I'm also coming at friendship too. Okay, was that line from The Wedding Singer? I think. Oh no, it was Wedding Crashers. Remember? He's like, I'm not just coming at love either. I don't believe friendship's real either.
All right. It's our 100th episode. I think next week we'll talk a little gold member, or do we want to talk about it today?
I mean, if you watched it, we can talk about it.
I did not, but I've seen it plenty of times, so we'll just talk about it next week.
Next week's fine. We did a lot of talking, and
it also means I don't have to go watch a James Bond movie this week.
It's the little things in life. If we're being honest, it's the little things.
Yeah.
Okay. So next week's fine.
Yeah.
Next week's
so we'll move into what are you binging? It's been a while, but it's our 100th episode. Usually this is the first of the month, but you know what? The wife and I, we just started watching Ozarks.
Really? For the first time ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
So about 4 years, when season 1 came out, I watched the first couple episodes, and it was one of those things where I started watching it when I was drunk, and just like forgot about it. Never really got into it. I was like, not really my thing. But then my wife and I got into it because we finished off some other shows. We're really into it. It's really good. Jason Bateman's amazing in it.
Yeah, I mean, dude has got some range, no doubt. Jason Bateman is great. Yeah, not the guy you think to play that kind of serious role, but absolutely.
I will say the actress that plays his wife does an amazing job because I hate her.
Oh yeah, Wendy.
Wendy, just much like in Breaking Bad, how much I hated the wife there. Skylar. Like, and again, that's not like that means that the actress did a great job.
Oh, it's like Joffrey.
If you can get me to hate you, that like actually have an emotion of like that.
Like if you saw this person in real life, like you would hate them. And that's good. I mean,
that's the whole point of the role.
I'm not ridiculous like some people who really do take it that far to like where they actually hate this person.
No,
and not that. That's not. But like, if I saw Joffrey's actor out and about, I'd be like, ugh, and I would know. Hell yeah, you did a great job. She does do a good job of making you hate her. Good show. I mean, this Righteous Gemstones is still coming out, so I'm super hyped.
We're gonna start that soon.
Get up into it for sure. But I've really been binging the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers audiobook, Andy Serkis. I did the Fellowship, and it was super good. Obviously, I'll do Return of the King after this one, but I mean, Andy Serkis straight kills it. Yeah.
I've got it. I need to listen. He did it. Have you listened to him do The Hobbit?
I haven't. I'm going to go back to The Hobbit.
So good. I'm going to jump in. I've done The Hobbit. I'm going to jump in. I've started listening to the first like couple minutes of it. I just haven't had time to sit down and listen to it, but I'm probably get into it.
Yeah. So that's really, really, I would suggest it. If you've got it, I mean, that's money in the bank.
All right, let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All righty. This happened yesterday, and I immediately told my wife, I was like, text this to me because I don't want to forget it. And people always want to try and say they have the same rights as us, but these people don't deserve the same rights as us. I'm talking, and you probably know who I'm talking about, bicyclists, cyclists. Yeah. They're the worst kind of people. Why are you on the road? You are not a car. You're a danger to. They are a danger to society. They are a bunch of hooligans and thugs. Just blocking our streets. I was driving on a back road in a curvy road, and this dude is going like 3 miles an hour, blocking a two-way road on a curvy, and I can't go around him because it's curvy. I can't get too close to him because what if I hit this dude? So get your spandex off it. And guess what? You can do what you're doing at a gym. You can buy a thing, but use your bike in your house. It exists.
That is true.
There is no reason to be on the road with cars.
It's just dangerous.
I just don't get why they can't use a sidewalk. Like, we can follow. Like, we're supposed to follow the same traffic laws. Why? You're not a car.
I feel the same way about the scooters.
Scooters are bad too. Use sidewalks
with you.
Because you know what? If a person on a bike is on a sidewalk and hits a person walking, the damage done there is a lot less than if a person in a car hits a person on a bike.
Well, it actually is illegal to ride your bike on the sidewalk.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I get it. They're following the law.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that these people do what they do. I don't like them as people. They're bad people. I don't like the law made for these people.
They're not. Hey, look, bicyclists aren't sitting their best. Okay, I'm with you. I find
they get off wearing spandex. Why is that?
I mean,
what are you, a bobsled team?
They're in really good shape, though. If we're being honest, those legs, they're nice legs. I mean, if anybody, I'm not saying they should, Bob. I'm not defending. I'm just saying if anybody should, bicyclists.
But it's not like you're racing. That dude is by himself. Who is he racing? Why does he need this pointy helmet to get less drag on himself?
He's racing himself is the problem. And and therein lies the problem, is that they're clocking themselves and they're like, I'm going to race me. And it's like, nah, bro. Unless you have the ghost person following you like you're at an arcade, you shouldn't be racing yourself. You should be, look, if they were pulling up beside each other at like red lights and like having straight up street races to where it was like a menace of the city, like I would be more okay with that.
100%.
Like if you pull up,
100%.
You're on a back road. Like instead of this situation where it's just some cat where he's trying to beat his personal time, you rolled up and there was a couple of bikers beefing and then they start racing.
I want to see this series of Fast and the Furious.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be the slow and the meticulous. Mine is, if I would have in my particular complaint, if I would have seen your complaint and mine, I honestly think I probably just would have ran over it. And for the reason for this being is because you ain't got no time to play when you're driving through Montana. Let me just say, you're seeing me right now. I'm wearing a Montana hat.
Stopping by the hat.
You're saying, I got a Montana hat. I'm 100% serious. I bought this hat because I never plan on going back to that state ever again. It was awful. When you drive through 16 hours of straight mountains, you get a little sick of it. You're going up a mountain, you're like, wow, this is so beautiful. And I cannot believe that this is there. And you go down it, you're like, wow, it's also beautiful going down it. But then you go back up the same mountain again, and so you think, you're pretty sure you're going in a circle through that place. They actually
designed it. You are. They're like, yeah, we want them to stay in Montana longer.
It was rough, man. Montana was rough. We passed.
I couldn't imagine what you went through. That sounds horrible.
It was awful.
At least my cross country drive is a little bit more south, and it's just
you
flat,
were lucky.
But it'll be the desert.
South Dakota. We went through South Dakota. I'm going to be honest with you, and I did not see this coming. Of all the states that we drove through, Idaho happened to be the easiest. Now, we weren't there long, and that could have been a portion of it, because the longer we happened to stay somewhere, each state had its own thing. South Dakota apparently is so scared that nobody will ever be able to see. And so like their interstates, we were driving through in the middle of the night, and it was like it was like they had like 30 lights and like dome lights on us. And like cities, like people had like, no one would turn their brights off. I'm not really sure if they're just scared that they'll never turn back on. I don't know. Iowa was awful. Wind was blowing us everywhere in Iowa. It was obviously no fun to be in Iowa in general. Missouri sucked. We had to drive by St. Louis, and that was garbage, and the weather was garbage.
There's a reason people just fly over them.
I'm telling you, man, there was just, just some of the, and even driving through, everything was just so dark, man. It was just like, I don't know. I just always felt like I was going to hit the wall. Like the sky was so big. It's come on, man. Montana, you're for the birds, man. I wouldn't do you. You're
trash.
You're trash. Like, and Yellowstone is in Montana, and like it would have been cool to go back and see Yellowstone, but now it's out forever. I don't care about it. It's just a geyser. There's probably a YouTube video or something.
Yeah,
so,
they got Google Images.
So, Montana, you are the ultimate winner, though, of all those states.
But all right, guys, once again, thank you for joining us for 100 episodes, and we can't wait for you to join us for another 100. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.